Exodus chapter 8. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your staff over the rivers, canals, and ponds of Egypt, and cause frogs to cover all the land of Egypt." And Aaron stretched out his hand over all the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered all the land of Egypt. The magicians of Egypt did the same by means of their secret arts, and they brought frogs over the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Ask the Lord to remove the frogs from me and my people, and I will send the people to sacrifice to the Lord." But Moses replied, "Let me know when I am to make intercession for you, your officials, and your people, that you may be rid of frogs except in the Nile." Pharaoh answered, "Tomorrow." And Moses said, "It shall be as you have said, so that you may know that there is no one like the Lord our God. The frogs will disappear from you and your house, your officials and your people. Only in the Nile will they remain." With this, Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh's presence. Then Moses called on the Lord concerning the frogs that he had inflicted on Pharaoh. The Lord did as Moses had requested, and the frogs died in the houses, the courtyards, and the fields. The people piled them in heaps, and the land was filled with a foul smell. Now that relief had come, Pharaoh became even more stubborn and would not listen, just as the Lord had foretold. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron to stretch out his staff and strike the dust of the earth with his staff, that it may be turned into mosquitoes throughout the land of Egypt." Aaron did this. He stretched out his hand with his staff and struck the dust of the earth, which turned into mosquitoes that tormented men and animals. All the dust of the earth all over Egypt turned into mosquitoes. But when the magicians tried, by means of their secret arts, to drive away the mosquitoes, they were not able to do so, and the mosquitoes kept tormenting men and animals. The magicians said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh was unmoved and did not listen, as the Lord had foretold. The Lord said to Moses, "Rise early in the morning and present yourself before Pharaoh when he is on his way to the river. Say to him, 'This is the Lord's message. Let my people go and worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will send horseflies on you, on your officials, and on your people, and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians will be filled with horseflies, and even the ground on which they stand. But on that day I will spare the land of Goshen, where my people are. No horseflies will be there, and by this you will realize that I, the Lord, am in the land. I will make a distinction between my people and your people. By tomorrow this will have happened." The Lord did this, and dense swarms of horseflies invaded Pharaoh's house and the houses of all his officials and all over Egypt. They infested the whole country. Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Go and sacrifice to your God in this country." But Moses replied, "That would not be right. We offer to our God animals which are sacred for the Egyptians. If we were to offer in their presence a sacrifice which offends the Egyptians, would they not stone us? We must make a 3 days' journey into the desert, and there we will sacrifice to the Lord our God as he commands." Pharaoh replied, "I will let you go and sacrifice to your God in the desert, but on condition that you do not go very far, and pray to God for me." Moses said, "As soon as I leave you, I will pray to the Lord, and tomorrow the horseflies will leave you your officials, and your people, but do not continue to deceive us by refusing to let the people go and sacrifice to the Lord." Moses left Pharaoh's presence and prayed to the Lord, who did as Moses had asked and delivered Pharaoh, his officials, and people from the horseflies. Not one horsefly was left. But Pharaoh was stubborn and refused to let the people go.